Brief History of Indian Late Medieval Period, circa 1215-26. Following the 1192 victory at the Second Battle of Touraine, the Ghurids establish a foothold in northern India. In 1206, the Turkic slave general Aybak asserts independence and founds the Mamluk, or slave dynasty. Operating from Lahore, Aybak focuses his brief reign on securing borders and raising a standing army. He earns the epithet Lak Baksh, or giver of lakhs, for his legendary generosity toward the elite. His reign ends abruptly in 1210 due to a fatal accident during a game of Chagan. Iltutmish is regarded as the true consolidator of the Sultanate, receiving formal investiture from the Caliph. He standardizes the economy by introducing the silver tanka and the copper jedal as standard denominations. Razia Sultana makes history as a rare female ruler in the Islamic world after her father Iltutmish's death. Her authority is challenged by the Corps of 40, a council of nobles operating as independent kingmakers. Balban, a former member of the 40, eventually destroys the council to centralize absolute royal power. He institutes a system of rigorous court etiquette and a spy network to suppress aristocratic insubordination. The Mamluk era ends in 1290 when the Minister of War, Jalaluddin, inaugurates the Khalji dynasty. The Khalji Revolution marks a major shift, breaking the exclusive monopoly of the old Turkic aristocracy. The ambitious Alauddin Khalji assumes the throne through treachery against his uncle and predecessor. Alauddin pursues unprecedented expansion, driving his military forces south into the heart of the subcontinent. His massive standing army successfully repels consecutive Mongol invasions that threatened to devastate northern India. He introduces Hunkam-i-Mesahad, mandating physical land measurement to determine state tax demand based on actual yield. Alauddin takes stringent measures against local elites, ensuring they cannot pass their tax burdens to the poor. To support his army, the Sultan establishes a regulated market control system with fixed prices for essential goods. Prices for staples like wheat and barley are strictly capped to ensure affordability for the city's inhabitants. Specialized markets are created for livestock and slaves, overseen by the newly formed Diwan-i-Riyasat. Strict intelligence officers known as Barids monitor the markets to prevent hoarding and price gouging. Transporters are registered and forced to settle near the river to ensure a continuous flow of food. By 1320, the Khalji dynasty falls, and the Tughlaqs rise to claim the political zenith of the Sultanate. Under Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the Sultanate reaches its geographical peak, ruling nearly the entire subcontinent. The Sultan shifts the capital to Dawlatabad, forcing the elite to migrate south to integrate the new territories. He introduces a token currency of copper and brass, intended to have the same value as silver. The experiment fails as illegal private minting triggers hyperinflation and a collapse in trade. The Sultan is forced to withdraw the tokens, exchanging them for genuine silver and depleting his reserves. A dedicated agricultural department is formed to expand cultivation through state subsidies and loans. Higher taxes in the fertile Doab coincide with a severe famine, sparking widespread rural rebellions. His successor, Firoz Shah, adopts a placatory policy toward the nobility and the religious class. Firoz Shah focuses on public works, constructing an extensive network of irrigation canals to stabilize production. The Tughlaq state is mortally wounded by the 1398 invasion of the Central Asian conqueror Timur. Timur's forces sacked the city and killed thousands before withdrawing, effectively ending Tughlaq power. Following the invasion, the Sultanate disintegrates into a patchwork of small, independent regional states. Territories are divided into Ikaitas, assignments held by officials responsible for revenue and military readiness. Local shikdars maintain law and order while protecting the peasantry from the oppression of landlords. The state directly manages crown lands known as Kalisa, where revenue flows straight to the treasury. For the Hindu majority, caste remains the dominant social marker and the primary organizer of rural life. Shudras face severe social restrictions, including being barred from reciting the sacred Vedas. Noble women are often kept in seclusion, while child marriages and the practice of sati are prevalent. Slavery is widespread, with slaves utilized for domestic work, security, and skilled craft production. Coastal Gujarat serves as a major gateway for maritime trade with the Persian Gulf and Red Sea. Ports in Bengal maintain active maritime relations with Malacca and the Far East. Wealthy Multani merchants dominate the long-distance overland trade routes connecting India to Central Asia. Indigenous bankers, or serifs, facilitate trade by issuing bills of exchange and letters of credit. New manufacturing industries like metalwork and papermaking flourish in major urban centers. Early Islamic monuments utilize materials from local temples, blending traditional and new styles. Because local craftsmen lack training in true arches, they use corbelling techniques to mimic Central Asian forms. The 73-meter Qhub Minar stands as a masterpiece of this early transitional architectural phase. Experimentation continues in tombs, showcasing a synthesis of local carving and foreign scripts. Balban's tomb contains what are believed to be the earliest surviving true arches and domes in India. Architectural technology is perfected in the Alai Darwaza, introducing the aesthetic of contrasting stones. Pointed horseshoe arches with delicate spearhead projections become a hallmark of the Khalji. Tughlaq architecture shifts toward austerity, with battered fortress-like walls and indigenous finials. The Lodi dynasty introduces the double dome, allowing for grand exteriors and comfortable interiors. The Lodi also popularized octagonal tomb plans set within lush landscaped garden squares. As central power wanes, regional sultanates like Bengal develop unique localized styles using local materials. The Sharqi rulers of Jaunpur champion a bold style featuring monumental screens rather than minarets. The Bhakti and Sufi movements rise to challenge orthodoxy and emphasize personal communion with God. Both movements share a common spiritual vocabulary and emphasize the role of a personal guide. Chishti Khanqahs function as egalitarian spaces, where all castes and creeds are treated equally. Figures like Kabir and Guru Nanak criticize rigid hierarchies and preach the oneness of humanity. Guru Nanak establishes the langar, or community kitchen, to directly undermine rules of ritual purity. Spiritual ideas are propagated in regional languages, breaking the priestly monopoly over literature. Congregational chanting, music, and dance become essential tools for popular devotion. Organized Buddhism declines as royal patronage shifts and Hindu sects survive among the masses. While popular movements thrive, the official religious class, the ulema, provides theological support to the state. A profound linguistic and cultural synthesis begins to emerge, often termed the Ganga-Jamuni Tehzeeb. In the south, the Devadasi system and temple arts flourish alongside the growing Bhakti influence. By the end of the period, India is a complex tapestry of rigid social structures and spiritual openness. The Bahmani kingdom is established in 1347 after an Afghan rebel leader declares independence from Delhi. In 1336, the Vijayanagara Empire is founded by brothers who declare themselves the Hindu sultans. The two powers engage in perpetual warfare over control of the strategic Tungabhadra Doab. The Bahmani court is fractured by a bitter rivalry between long-established local elites and newcomers from Persia. Internal strife eventually causes the Bahmani Sultanate to disintegrate into 5 independent states. In Vijayanagara, the rise of hereditary military governors known as Nayakas weakens central village government. King Deva Raya the first builds dams across the Tungabhadra to provide irrigation and city water. Deva Raya the second reorganizes his army to incorporate the superior cavalry features used by the Delhi Sultanate. Considered the empire's greatest ruler, Krishna Deva Raya is a major patron of literature and a brilliant conqueror. The empire maintains friendly ties with the Portuguese to secure horses and trade. In 1565, a coalition of Deccan sultanates crushes the Vijayanagara army at the Battle of Talakota. The capital is left in ruins, signaling the slow decline of the last great southern empire. Ibrahim Lodi's tyrannical governance alienates the Afghan nobility, sparking internal revolts across the north. Conspiring against the Sultan, the governor of Punjab invites Babur, the Timurid ruler of Kabul, to India. Babur, having lost his Central Asian kingdom, turns his sights toward India with a force of 15,000 men. Lodi mobilizes a much larger army, intending to use the sheer weight of numbers to crush the invader. Near Panipat, Babur creates a defensive line of bullock carts, a configuration known as the Araba. Lodi initially adopts a defensive strategy, but fear of internal sabotage forces him to launch an offensive. Babur employs Tulima tactics, using mobile units to encircle the massive Lodi force from the rear. Behind his cart barrier, Babur's gunners fire field artillery, protected by wheeled wooden screens. The explosive sound of the cannons terrifies the war elephants, causing them to stampede through Lodi's own troops. Ibrahim Lodi is killed on the battlefield, the last of the Sultanate monarchs to fall in defense of his crown. The victory at Panipat in 1526 marks the end of the Delhi Sultanate and the dawn of the Mughal Empire. The three-century rule of the five dynasties concludes, leaving the foundation for a transformative new era.